Aut shaut daklenu elamun timta. Aut natior ela e nebut diar. Oh, sorry, I was about to cut off the camera. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Mudhuta Nudimu Kahagadu Herokayu. I took the all or the L off my name, and now we're going with Herokayu. So this is Right Knowledge Radio. The day, let's see, is Sanu, Tamedin, Kubad, Geb, Usbu, Atna, Tashul, Chasa. That's right. Year 81, the month of Geb. I forgot what number month that is, but it's the second week, 5th day. Tashu Nudimud, day of Nudimud. So yeah, I'm just making this video to kind of, I guess, some observations that I've seen with Malakites. You know, when I speak, I draw a distinction between Nuwabians and Malakites. Malakites are non-thinkers and worshipers of Malachi. Basically, they're worshipers of Dr. York. They don't use logic and reason. They just follow Dr. York. Whatever he said, if Dr. York says jump off a bridge, no question. And you're supposed to question, right, as a Nuwabian. A Nuwabian would say, why would you want me to jump off a bridge? Wouldn't that break some of my bones and potentially cause death? A Malakite would just jump off the bridge. So that's my distinction between a Malakite and a Nuwabian. A Nuwabian is all about nationhood and tribalhood. A Malakite just follows. And it's kind of sad because he's sitting in Colorado ADX Max, and these Malakites can't do nothing for him. His sister can't even do nothing for him. Family can't do nothing for him. I heard in the Pod to Rocks, he's talking about his family. You know what I mean? They don't have his back. So this is a sad revelation. But Malachi, his spirit will live on. His nafus will live on because it touched a brother like me, and it touched hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people across this planet. So this video, oh, by the way, I'm in Lemon, Colorado. I told y'all we started a company called Amoon Logistics LLC out of Arizona, and we got a Google account for that, and I'll actually be making videos about the transportation business, specifically van trucks, cargo vans, and tractor trailer trucks, and we will be offering employment to or contract work to those entering the nation who are in need, because a lot of people trying to enter the nation trying to escape from something. It's sad. They trying, and it ain't just to escape to just know yourself and learn the Nuwabic language, which brother from New York was like, oh, well, this is not the Nuwabic that they're teaching in New York. I'm like, what are they teaching in New York? Aren't they teaching the Sabbatic language? Yeah. Do I look like a Sabian? I thought you were trying to enter the United Nuwabi Nation of Moors. We're Nuwabians. So if you want to be a Sabian, go over there and take their classes. You could take their language classes. I don't know nothing about that language. Yeah, I don't know nothing about it. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna knock it either. But if you're forgetting the purpose of why you're here, and if you want to change the language, then learn the language first. If you've been learning supposedly you're Nuwabian, I think you're just a Malakite. Because Dr. York said it himself in the Isles of Patmos. He's if you just follow me, you're a Malakite. You're not a Nuwabian. So I'm just repeating what the master teacher said. If you're just reading the books and you don't practice nothing in the books, then you're not even a Malakite. Then you're just a Dr. York fan. So anyway, I lost track of what I was gonna say, y'all. But that's okay. So you know, I've echoed this message before, that we're not taking basically beggars and bums into the nation right now. That's been on hold, unless you have something to offer. Like, people want ID cards. What that gonna do for you, man? What is an ID card gonna do for you? It ain't gonna do nothing. You in poverty. I'm gonna be real with you. You will probably never escape poverty. You will always live in poverty, because that's your mindset. You have a poor mindset, and it just reflects back in physical reality. That's all. The way you look at the planet. Oh, I can't do this. Then you can't do it. I'm not gonna twist your arm and say, oh, you can do it. You're the greatest ever. Obviously, you're not the greatest ever. You're not. Everybody's not meant to reach their potential. Like in your potential book, that it takes effort to reach your potential. And it ain't just reading books. The hardest thing to do is to actually execute what's in the book. That's the challenge. And you're gonna find out people have been studying. They just study Nuwabu, kind of like an Egyptologist studies Egyptology. Can he speak the ancient Tamarian language? No. All he can do is study it from the outside, because he doesn't want to make himself a part of it. He just wants to study it. So, you'll see people who are Nuwabians running back to Christianity, running back to Islam, which all these things can be studied as a Nuwabian if you ever became a Nuwabian. But a lot of people just couldn't make the jump from Negro to Nuwabian more. They couldn't do it. And when Dr. York went to when he got kidnapped and went to prison, it all fell apart, because at the end of the day, they were faithful but not true. And at the end of the day, they were Dr. York fans. They were just Malakites. They're Malakites. They just followed Dr. York wherever he went, because they're Negroes. Deep down inside, they're cultureless Negroes. And you got brothers out there talking bad about their wife. You don't do that, man. You don't talk bad. Talking about you trying to be a high priest of the imam, talking about your wife like she was a dog. I'm like, you ain't even got no discipline. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no discipline to be a high priest. I mean, you use 6 either language cussing on. Now I cuss very little now, but it still slips out. You know what I mean? I'm working on it. I'm much better at it. And I also want to talk about getting rid of those who are toxic. Out of your circle. Get them out. Get them out. Get them out. No matter how influential they may seem to be, get them out. Get them out. That's what I did. I got a lot of people out, starting with the fake president before, because no one voted for him, right? Asaro. But Asaro was right about one person, and he lives in South Carolina, and he has a little bit of an addiction problem, calling people a lot, smoking, talking 6 either languages, pretending, I guess, to be knowledgeable. He had me influenced for a minute, but then that's why I'm talking about people. You got to clear them out. Because after you see people for a couple of years, I call myself an observer, because I'll observe you for years. And if your actions don't match up to your words, your respect goes over the years. It keeps going down until I basically will stop communicating with you, because your actions don't match your words. Like the brother, I guess there's some books called the Mayan Order, by some Tamahu woman. I don't know who she is. I really don't care. But it does look like Dr. York copied some words from the Mayan order into the ancient Egyptian order books, which I haven't fully read yet, because the order is defunct right now under the nation. Anything else is not official. It's not official. So what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Oh, so the brother says, now he's been studying for like over 20 some years, so he says Dr. York is the biggest plagiarizer in the world. I'm like, what? So I take a look at the books. I'm like, there are a lot of similar words in here, but why would you say he's the biggest plagiarizer in the world when we both know that's not true? So they put these Malakites, right? I put Dr. York on a pedestal so high that if he does one little thing that they don't think is correct, they leave. This dude went back to pale Arab worship in Islam. He went back to pale Arab worship after that. And I'm like, dang, that's crazy. But the brother did have some psychological issues as far as like using crack and smoking all the time, and not speaking about his wife well, which is all stuff like in the HTM. Violated every goddamn rule. Started to make up rules in AMOM that didn't even make sense. I didn't question it at the time because I was still trying to learn. But as I learned and I sat back and I just observed, I let the whole scene play out. And I talked to other people to consult with. The brother was just leading people in the wrong way. Yeah, he didn't really know what he was doing. He didn't work. He just stayed at home, and his wife was really, the man of the house. Because the man of the house always make money. You always go out and make money. That's what my daddy told me. He's like, son, go and make money. You a man. Go make some money and take care of your wife and your kids when you have them. Don't be no grown-ass man sitting up on the porch smoking. I mean, they do it in LA too. They do it everywhere. This is not a man. This is a parasite. And parasites don't get no respect. Nah, man. And it's in the Family Guy too. So my thoughts and my father's thoughts were along with Dr. York's thoughts. Like a man's supposed to provide for his family, not beg the government for money. That's not a man. To me, that's not a man. You on welfare, disability, or even some dudes is getting child support from the baby moms. I'm like, I don't know what kind of males are being produced these days, but I guess I'm old school, bro. I'm not. I'm just an old-fashioned man, Nubian man. But the fake president was right. He just said, he's just a crackhead. He's just a drug user. So that's the way I choose to look at it. And that's one thing Asaro did say that was good and honest and to the truth. So clearing those in your circle that have a negative influence. I see it a lot of people, calling the nation, and they strictly want benefits. But I'm like, there ain't no benefits over here. We're a fraction of where it was under the original founder, Dr. Malachi Zadok York. It's a fraction of what. If you ain't willing to work over here, I wouldn't even apply. I because I won't say I've seen it all from the Malakites, but I've pretty much seen a lot. These brothers got a lot of memorizing book knowledge, but when it comes to applying it in real life, that's why they stuck in poverty. They didn't get the message. You know what I mean? They just want to repeat words, and they don't even know Nuwabic. Yabrefu awat awut Yabrefu awut Nuwabilal. They don't even know they're supposed to be Nuwabians, but they don't know nothing about Nuwabic culture. And that starts with the language. The Rabasuk. So it just doesn't make sense to me. And so if it doesn't make sense to me, I can't roll with it. And if you're unable to convince me, because the Malakites will say, well, what gives you the right to change the language? I said, I'm not changing the language, I'm improving it. Obviously, either you can't read and comprehend well, because some people could read, but cannot understand what's being said, right? There's a lot of, what do they call it? Functional illiterates. Right, they can read the word and sound it out perfect. You ask them what it means, they don't know what the hell it means. They don't know it. They just know how to sound it out and speak it. But you ask them what it means, they don't know what it means. See, this is the Malachite, because if you know what something means, you follow up with action. Dr. York says, put your family in an environment where they will flourish. You know what I mean? Put them in an environment where, hold on, let me get this bag real quick. Where they will flourish. You know what I mean? So once you put your kids in an environment, your children in an environment where they will flourish, because I don't care how much Nuwabu you know, because I see it all the time. I don't care how much Nuwabu if you got your kids growing up in the neighborhood where they're hearing gunshots, rapes, murders, and drug dealing, eventually they're gonna fall victim to that. Your daughter is probably gonna get pregnant at 17 or 18. You know, it don't matter how much book knowledge you've memorized. The book is only supposed to help you in real life. So if you're not applying it in real life, it ain't gonna do nothing for you. It ain't gonna do nothing for you. This is what I don't really like Dr. Umar Johnson, because I think he's an egotistical maniac. Tried to say he's related to Frederick Douglass. The family came out and said, nah, you're not related to Frederick Douglass. You're not in our family, homie. Niggas, these are the niggas of 2022 who y'all following. Yep. And Dr. York's sister, I guess. Well, that has nothing to do with Nuwabu. But you know, and then, you know, brothers just don't, and then brothers reacting like little children. You know what I mean? If you got a disagreement with a brother, learn to calm down and argue in an intelligent manner. Dudes, that's why I'm like, I'm glad I cleared my circle, because you got brothers who are supposed to be Imam high priest talking crazy like a crackhead, like an uncontrollable little kid. I'm like, nah, you gotta go, bro. You gotta go. You have to go. So he's been removed from Imam. I guess they got a little study group. That's cool, you know. Keep as because that's all you can really handle, if you can handle that. Because I'm like, you've never even really had a job, so I don't see how you're gonna run an organization if you never even had a job. So that's just destined for failure, and I don't want to be part of failure, and I don't want to be part of ruining people's souls. I really don't. That's why I remove myself, you know, as the aferut. I just remove myself from that situation so I can like better myself and envision perfection for myself and my soul. Because being around people speaking 6 ether languages, every other word that they say is nigger this, nigger that. I don't want to be around that stuff, man. I don't want to be around that, man. If you say it like once in a blue moon, cool, but I ain't trying to be around it all the time, man. That's nah, man. That's a step in the wrong direction, you know. And so you got to get rid of people like that. People like that are bad for business. You know, the welfare babies, the crackheads, the lazy nigga. That's bad for business. It's a bad look for me. It's a bad look for the nation. We want men who can run businesses, who are college educated, who know how to treat a woman, who know how to speak about their woman, because your woman is your equal. So if you're talking stuff about your lady, you're really talking stuff about yourself. She's the other half of you. You would never see me talk about my wife like that. Talk about like she's some dog or some prostitute. I mean, are you supposed to follow the teachings? Nah, I don't think you're following the teachings, bro. I think you're satanic. You're some kind of evil, black devil, demonistic Satan worshiper. And that's why you was on them drugs, right? That's why, because you're a demon worshiper. That's what you really are. You follow the ways of the devil. That's why you talk like that. That's why you act like that. That's why your house is nasty. You're following the ways of the devil, but you're masking it, trying to mask it under Nuwabu, which ain't gonna work, and trying to mask it under Islam or whatever someone is trying to worship under, you go do that. You stay away from the nation. You go do that. I don't want the kids to see a human beast operating like that, because that's what these black devils are. They're human beasts. To me, they're human beasts. I know I could be harsh sometimes, but this is just the truth. You workers of iniquity, I never knew you. Be gone. Be gone. I never knew you. Be gone. Stay away. Stay away. These black demons. So, language, I'm always a fan of the Nuwaubian language. I've been studying it for about 5 years now. It's close to 5 years. And when I studied it, I'm from California, so when I got excited that we even had a language, I'm like, oh my God, we got our own language. Nobody knew how to speak it. People have been studying the Nuwabu for like 10, 15, 20 years, had no idea how to speak the language. I'm like, how do you not know you're supposed to be a Nuwaubian, right? You don't know even basic stuff? I'm like, wow, brothers didn't even know how to pronounce syllables. They didn't even know how to pronounce nothing. So what I had to do is, I was studying, really it was Yiddish. So I had to drop that. It's the University of Jerusalem online. I took that class because I wanted to learn Aramic Hebrew, but came to find out this is Yiddish. I'm like, I ain't trying to learn no Yiddish. So I dropped that, started studying the Nuwabic. What I did learn with Yiddish, Yiddish is a false language. It tried to use the same script as the ancient script. So it's kind of like a thin line between truth and falsehood. But when I found out the falsehood in Yiddish and these Caucasoids, I went toward the black Aramic language. And I started studying that along with Nuwabic, and it helped me pronounce some of the syllables. But then you got the E in English, the letter E, which is stupid because E is the sound of a letter in the international language, which looks like an I. So I had to learn the International Phonetic Alphabet, or at least some of it, to sound out the words. And the master teacher talks about this in the Nubic, the green book, the green and white and black book, the Nubic language. He talks about the teachers. He says, listen to your teacher the way they pronounce the word. If the teacher's not available, refer to the IPA, which is the International Phonetical Alphabet. And I'd only been in the nation for like less than a year, and I found this out because I'm college educated, right? So I know how to read and comprehend and decipher language. A lot of these street Negroes that are trying to sound heavy on the street. See, Dr. York was also formally educated. That's why he's able to speak, read, and write well, because he was educated in Sudan, right? The University of Khartoum. A lot of you Negroes are not like college educated. And I could tell because some dude's trying to start an order called the Order of the Hierophant, some Greek, he's using Greek words still because he hasn't learned. When I looked at the stuff first of all, he's copying pages from a book and putting it into his own book. That's plagiarism. You're copying words from another book and you're putting a new cover on the book and giving it to your whatever order this is. I didn't really get into it because it wasn't even righteous, So I'm like, that's plagiarism. You know what I'm saying? And then another brother, when Asaru stopped, when we kicked him out for misappropriating national funds, and he was never voted in as the president anyway, the brother that I'm talking about, there was another brother from Georgia. I think, he's from Georgia. I'll just call him T. I ain't gonna say no names on here. Just call him T. His name does start with a T, and we were all cool at the point, so there was no, really a negative energy going on. He said, yeah, I read the brother's books, man. He mailed me some books. He's to me, it sounded like he plagiarizing Dr. York. And now the same brother who says that, the same brother that says that this Mayan order and the AEO, that Dr. York's the biggest plagiarizer in the world, he was plagiarizing Dr. York. You see how it all doesn't make sense? This is the realm of satanic manipulation and deception. Dagul, degal. No, degul. And Nuwabic degul is deceit. So it's constant contradictions, constant misleading, constant. And so at the time when Brother T was saying this about Brother B in South Carolina, I'm like, probably because the brother doesn't have much education, right? He's not that smart. He doesn't have much education. I just kind of swept it under the rug because me and the brother were cool at the time, and he was telling me things I didn't know at the time, you know what I mean? But once I was spiritually growing in the AMOM, I started to see things quite clearly, and I seen the direction that he was going, right? He was going toward more pale Arab worship in Islam. Instead of studying it in a Nuwabian way, he just went to, I don't know, Shia, Sunni, it's all pale Arab, is pale Arab racist Islam, right? I couldn't follow him in that direction. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. And it just seems like this is your new addiction. You know, he likes to get addicted to things, you know what I mean? I'm just looking at it like, nah, I'm straight. I'm a Nuwabian, that's my culture, it's not my religion. I have many religions. Shaytawut. It was from Brother Muwada Ashby. He actually discovered the name of the religion of ancient Egypt. It's called Shaytawut, not the Or. He said the Coptics in Egypt called it Natur, with the exact same vowels and everything. Natur. We say Natior as Nuwabians. They say Natior. I'm not a Malakite. I'm a Nuwabian, right? Dr. York said there was many teachers that came down to the earth to give us our religion back, our spiritual system back, our language. Now, Dr. York was probably the biggest piece to this as Amanubi Rakhta, but Muwada Ashby is part of that too. You know what I mean? My skin is peeling, the dead skin coming off. Okay. But a lot of people were part of that. Dr. Ben brought some good stuff, but again, he was part of the Black Boule. He tried to actually say that the Black Boule did not exist when he was lying through his teeth because he was part of it. So that's a black devil right there, trying to deceive his own people. So that can only go so far. There's a lot of people who drop knowledge. Dr. York's the biggest, though. Of course, Dr. York's the biggest because Muwada Ashby does what he does. Dr. York started a nation. He let us know that not only are we from Nubia, we from here also, right? And you're not a Negro, black and colored. You're a Nuwabian Moor, because that's what it says back in ancient history. It says that we're Moors, and we all know that the word Moor came from the word Maor in ancient Tamaray. There's no denying these things. So we follow the facts. Yeah, we just follow the facts. If you want to disagree with the facts, then that's up to you. That's always a losing war, because all I have to do is say, well, look at E.A. Wallace Budget's book, how he broke down the words. So we just use facts. I mean, that's what we do. We use facts. We're Nuwabians, and if you're an HTM, then you know that we study factology. Now, another thing is these spooked out space cadets talking about Dr. York can walk through a wall, so he's not in prison. Oh my goodness, that is some of the stupidest. There's no logic or reasoning behind that. You're probably just reading too many comic books or playing too many video games. Playing too many video games, the mind becomes warped. with fantasy and yeah. I mean, to say that Dr. York could walk through a wall, you didn't lost your damn mind. You should probably go to a psycho ward talking like that. Not saying that things can't go through walls, but to not get involved in Dr. York's case because your reasoning is he's not in there because he can walk through a wall. Get out of here. Just don't even talk to me. Just get out of here. Get out of here. That sound like some crackhead stuff. That sound like you tripping off mushrooms or LSD or some crack or something. I've heard many people say something like that. And I'm like, what do you know about Dr. York's case? Judge Ashley Royals, Sister Tapa Jet, the Sabians over there, at least, that are even attempting to try to free him. Which, I'm going to say it right here. My honest opinion is, y'all done wasted too much time over it. And I'm talking to Sabians. Y'all done wasted too much time. Dr. York, the master teacher, probably going to die in prison. And I'm man enough to say that the master teacher, and his blood is on your hands, because you have a direct activity that relates to freeing him, and you failed 21 years now. You've been failing, and I'm like, why would I want to join a tribal nation that's purposely keeping their own president in jail? Used to be our president, right? And another thing, as a brother said, when did Dr. York say he's a Sabian? I haven't heard it on no audio. So something fishy going on over there. A lot of deception going on over there. You know what I'm saying? So as Nawabians, we're gonna keep asking questions. We're just gonna keep asking questions until we get to the truth. And the truth is, I'm going back to the Malakites, because I deal with, sometimes these Malakites will come in, or brothers who just heard about the nation and the Wabu, and they want to get more familiar with it. So the nation will take on the religion of Shaitan, not the Or. Because all that Amun, Atun, Anun, that's all part of Shaitan, not the Or. So we will declare that. So that's the name of the religion of our. It's not animism. We're not. Nah, I heard some brothers in Sabian nations say animism. Nah, we're going with original Nuwabic or Tamaran or Sumerian words. We're not using. We still have some Arabic remnants in Nuwabic, but we go beyond that. We go back to Shaitan, not the Or, which is about at least 30,000 years old. Older than all your religions put together, probably times 2 or 3. So Shaitan, not the Or, that's the religion. And Shaitan, not the Or, also includes the teachings of Anu. Right? Includes the teachings of Anu. Now let the Sabians, let that sink in for a minute, right? Because wasn't there a city in Egypt called Anu? And weren't there high priests of Anu inscribed on the temple walls? Yes, there was. Yes, there was. So all that backwards talk, confusing, devilish talk, at least I see right through it. I just see right through it. Dr. York is not that confused writing the books. Someone obviously is changing the words of the master teacher, or the master teacher is leading you guys somewhere away from us, the righteous ones. So I just kind of leave it at that. Continue to do my spiritual practices in the religion and in certain orders that I'm part of, and that I'm a priest of, that I'm a wab of. So Again, AEO is put on hold because there's not a lot of eligible candidates. Eligible candidates for any order in the United Noabi Nation Wars. You can't be like really a smoker, because I'm gonna start requiring physicals, like as Dr. York did. So as a high priest of the Imam, I will require physicals. I will also look at your lifestyle and the way that you live. If your lifestyle does not match, that's one of the 7 codes of the Imam. I'm not gonna repeat what that code is. You have to be an Imam for me to discuss that with you, at least in Nasswood. But I'll go ahead and say it. You must live the life that you advocate. If you're advocating for the Imam and the master teacher, Mariutu or Melchizedek, is prescribing certain things for your health, and you don't follow that, you violated one of the 7 codes of conduct, and you will be reprimanded, right away, like military style, like right away. There ain't no, because I'm not the master teacher, you know what I'm saying? Of course I'm not as intelligent as the master teacher, but I'm a disciplinarian like the master teacher. And this is what I'm talking about. You got to separate your people, remove them from any positions of power, which I did remove the brother. Because just the way that you talk, the way that you operate in your life, and the way that you talked about your wife, man, you're out. Because there was another brother cheating on his wife, and they're out of Chicago. I ain't going to say no names. We kicked that dude out because he was cheating on his wife, right? We take our women very seriously. She is your equal. You will treat her with respect, especially if she's taking care of you. You don't even have a job. You just smoke dope on the porch all day. You know what I'm saying? And you talking about your wife like that, and she paying all your bills. You must be crazy, man, working 10, 11 hours a day to take care of basically a dope head. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, man. I can't roll with that, man. I can't. You are a horrible example to show our youth and to show other brothers. You know what I'm saying? And then gonna deny that he said it. Come on, man. That's some crackhead stuff. That's a brother who's warped from reality. That's a Malakite that's warped from reality. I don't deal with warp. I live in divine reality. I'm not warped from reality. I practice ma'at. And I'm not perfect. Definitely I'm not perfect, but that will not be tolerated. It's like you want other people to have discipline, but you ain't got no discipline yourself. There's a lot of people like that. So we have to remove these people from any positions of power, because all they're going to do is corrupt the rest of them. So I see what Dr. York was talking about now. He's I raised a bunch of black devils. And I've heard that from multiple people who lived on the land. So I'm like, well, as far as I know that they lived on the land, it's all what's that Latin word that they use? Not conjecture. I'll come up with it later, all right? But we have to get rid of brothers like this, right? Then it's a more strenuous process now that I've asked the secretary to come up with when people go through the nation. We're reinstating background checks by the FBI. We have to get hard on. We have to keep niggas out. And I agree with Asara. Asara's like, we got to keep the niggas out. You got to keep the niggas out. Niggas will destroy themselves, and they will destroy any organization that they belong to. Any organization. And this is what Dr. York was talking about. I don't think he really realized how destructive the black devil is, but we see it. I see it. I see how destructive the nigga is, the Negro, the Negroid. We see how destructive he is, because he destroys himself every day. So he will definitely destroy any organization that he's a part of. That's why it's impossible for him to become a Nuwaubian and speak the Nuwaubic language. Now I completely understand. And with that revelation, the nation can now really move forward without wasting a lot of time on people basically who are already dead. These people are already dead. They're just trying to reach out, like, they're trying to reach up the hand from the grave. But these black devils and these Negroes that are living in not just poverty, physical poverty, but poverty of the soul. Their fig bowl and date bowl is empty. And they're a beggar, begging for the knowledge of the high priests and the masters. But until they prove themselves worthy, I'm not teaching them nothing. I'm not teaching them nothing. I'm not teaching them nothing. I won't even give them a job with Amun Logistics LLC. Why would I waste my time? Why would a brother like me who's successful, own multiple homes, bought land, can operate in society, can operate businesses, buy buildings, invest properly? Why would I want to waste my time with a nigga from the hood who ain't gonna do nothing except ask for an ID card and try to get away with paying some taxes? You ain't gonna get away with nothing. You gonna pay. One thing you are gonna do in America, America's about commercial activity. All crimes are commercial. You know what I'm saying? That's why when they charge you with a crime, that's why there's a bond set. Everything is commercial. It's admiralty law. You know what I'm saying? You could listen to some American mores about that, and it's true. Look up the laws of America. All crimes are commercial. Right? All crimes are commercial. You know what I'm saying? All crimes are commercial. That's why somebody got to bail you out. If the crime's bad enough, the judge acts as a banker. He sits on the bench. That's why judges sit on the bench. The Supreme Court, they say, he's been appointed to the bench. The bench is banco, bank, from the Latin word, and it means bank. It means a bank. You know what I'm saying? So the judges sit on the banco, bank, bench in English, right? And he does what? When you commit a crime, depending on the severity of the crime, he sets your bond. Your bond, he holds your body in bondage until you're able to pay to get yourself free. If you don't, and if your crime is too heinous, he will what? Deny your bond. He won't put a price tag on your crime because he says your crime is beyond a price tag. Which I agree. If you murdered multiple people and you should be denied bond. I agree with that. So people just got to understand the land that they live in. They don't know where they live. Black people live as like refugees in a country in which their forefathers founded, not the Tomahawk. You know, that's what Frederick Douglass said. So we got to get more educated than just following Dr. York. Following Dr. York, okay.